Hi everyone, welcome back to the Aquarian Alchemist Tarot. Today's tarot reading is going to be a message from a loved one who's passed on. So we're going to start this reading with grounding ourselves. So I'm going to ask you to sit comfortably, or you can lie down if that's more comfortable. You can sit with your feet on the ground ideally. And close your eyes, and I want you to just imagine roots coming out from the bottoms of your feet and traveling down through the floor beneath you. If you're on the second floor or third floor, imagine those roots going down through all the levels beneath you, through the foundation of the building or house that you're in, or if you're outside, just right into the ground. Imagine those roots traveling down further through the ground, through all the different layers of rock and clay, down through any water that might be there. Imagine those traveling down further to the very center of the earth, and you can imagine that as just a layer of magma, very hot but doesn't hurt your roots. Or you can imagine it as a beautiful, lush garden in the center of the earth. Imagine those roots anchoring to something down there. Could be a tree or a bench, if there's a park bench maybe, or a pipe, and anchor those roots. Now I want you to imagine a cord coming out from your tailbone and running through the same thing, imagining it going down through the ground, through all the layers, down to the center of the earth and anchoring. Okay, now I want you to take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. And let it out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 3, 4, 5, 6. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do one more big deep breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now that we're grounded and we're ready, we're going to ask Source to assist us in sharing a message from a loved one who's passed on. And this may be somebody who's passed on long ago, could be somebody who's more recently passed. I myself have recently lost somebody important in my family, and it's been difficult to accept, but sometimes we see signs that can give us comfort to know that they made it safely to the other side and that they are experiencing greater joy and happiness than perhaps they were if they were suffering in this life and in their body that they had. So we're using the Tarot of the Divine. I'm going to choose 3 cards. Source, please help us clear, concise, accurate messages. Oh, take those 2. This one right here. Okay. And there will be timestamps for the piles, so if you like to just skip ahead to your pile, feel free to do that. And the best way to choose your pile is just whichever one you're most drawn to. That's usually the best one. You can be drawn to more than one, and feel free to listen to more than one or all of them if that resonates with you. So the first one is the Fool, beautiful mermaid with koi fish. And then we have the Star, and the Hanged Man. Wow, all higher arcana cards. That's kind of interesting because usually I start with either an affirmation card or an oracle card. This time I decided to start with tarot. Okay, so pick your pile. If you like to pick with crystals, I'm going to add the crystals in right now. So we have this Aventurine. It's a green stone. So that's for pile number 1. And then we have this Chalcedony for pile number 2. And this black Obsidian for pile number 3. Okay, so pick your piles, and then we're going to do the card selection. If you like to watch that, feel free to watch, and as we do that, and then if not, just feel free to skip ahead. One of the decks we're going to be using is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. Spirit, can we get some clear, concise, accurate messages for these piles? Assist us in getting a message from a loved one who has passed on. Clear, concise, accurate messages. Let's see this one poking out here. Thank you. And one more, please. There we go. We're also going to use this Starseed Oracle deck, one of my favorite decks to work with, especially if you identify as a starseed, which I do. Thank you. We're also going to use the I Am affirmation cards. Thank you. It's also poking out along with this one. And we're going to take 2. We're going to go with even numbers here today. This one's got an extra sparkle on it for my kids, probably. Okay, and today I'm going to use the Rider-Waite deck for our tarot. Now, I will say that this deck is missing I think two cards from the deck are missing. And, I mean, some people may not want to use the deck, but I'm pretty sure the cards are in my house and that they will resurface when the time is right. And I will take that as a sign from the universe, for sure, that the timing is right for those cards to come back to the deck. I've had this deck for a very long time, and I have a connection with this deck, so I don't want to stop using it, but I will be upfront. There are a couple of cards that are missing, and they're just flying out. And I will, oh, my cat has come to say hello. Hopefully he doesn't try to, no, please don't get on there. That's okay, you just stay there, okay, buddy, yeah. Okay, so I've done 5 each, so I kind of want to keep it even. There we go, okay, and at the end, we will actually add in some, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in one of each of these. There we go. Okay. If we need more clarification at the end, we can definitely do that. So I'm just going to set it out of the way. pile number 1. Hello. You chose the Fool and the Aventurine stone. It's a beautiful stone, and of course they match perfectly. I'm going to brighten it up a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so here are your cards, pile number 1. We're going to start from the bottom. We're going to work our way through. So your pile, education. Wishing well. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Oops. It's better. Called. Soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. Shift this all over a little this way. I am powerful. My thoughts, feelings, and actions create my future. Okay. I am irresistible. When I rise into my confidence, I attract positive people and opportunities. Five of Swords. The King of Wands. Two of Cups. The Fool. Again, that's a synchronicity. The Tower. I'm going to have to replace these. The Six of Swords. And the Hermit. Okay, so I'm just going to move these into piles that we can more easily see. And we'll start with, what I'll just do is move this down while we chat about the top here. So our question for Spirit was, what message does your loved one who's passed on have for you? So right away, what I see, and especially because you picked the Fool, but you also drew the Fool card twice in the same reading. And the Fool card is the beginning of the tarot. It is the journey itself. It symbolizes the person on the journey, whether it be male or female. The journey is the lesson. The journey is what it's all about. A lot of us focus a lot on the details about the future of what it will be when we get there, you know, planning that trip, but all you can think about is the trip. But then the trip is what often is the quickest part of the whole experience. And learning to savor those little steps along the way and to be present in the moment is so difficult, but it's so important. And I'm getting the sense that the person who's passed on in your life is trying to signal you that you're focusing a lot on what could be coming or what might happen or what happened in the past, or you know, you're focusing a lot on the stories, what the person said to me, what the person did to me, but you're not focusing on you and the journey, and what you're learning from these things, or what you have the potential to learn from these things, just to be really, really crisp and clear in this moment. And instead of always wanting to be somewhere else, doing something else, with somebody else. Maybe you're in a relationship that's been hard and you're always sort of daydreaming about, moving on from that. And that may be part of your future, that may be part of your story, but often patience and just accepting where you are, being grateful for where you are in that moment, and then allowing what comes into your life to come into your life when it's time. It is about taking action. Action is important. It can't just be all in your mind and wanting and feeling that lack of having what you want, that absence of abundance, or that absence of the love of your life. Being present, being grateful with what you have at this moment now, because this moment is all there ever is. But we trick ourselves and we spend a lot of time thinking about the past or the future. So I'm getting the sense that your person wants to remind you that you're here now, you're alive now. They're not here anymore in a physical body. Maybe they have not reincarnated, chosen not to reincarnate. I believe in reincarnation. Maybe you don't, and that's fine. But they're reminding you, like, you're still here. I know you may be sad that I'm not there anymore, but I got to do what I needed to do, what I planned to do. And I was ready to return to source, or I hit a snag that wasn't part of my plan and I wanted to start over. I do believe that sometimes our souls really hit a point where they don't feel like they're going in the right direction and they kind of want to hit the reset button and start from the beginning again. That may be hard to accept or understand, because we see death as really like a bad thing. We see death as, like, especially if somebody dies very early on in their life, it's a lot easier to accept somebody who lives to be 95 and passes away peacefully in their sleep than to understand why a 10-year-old, dies in a car accident or of cancer, or, we just feel like, oh, they didn't get to finish, they didn't get to live that long life. They were robbed. It's unfair, and it does really feel unfair. But we also have to, if we can begin to see death as not a complete end to us, an end to that physical experience and an end to that body, but that our soul continues and our soul actually goes back to a really beautiful place, it becomes a lot easier and to accept why that person's not here anymore. We don't always know why, what the answers are, but we can just trust that they're okay, they're with God, they're back with source, they are happy, they're living a good existence past that life, and they are still thinking about us and still rooting for us and wanting us to achieve what we came here to achieve in this life, and not to dwell, rather. So education and wishing well. When I see that, I'm getting the sense that they're trying to gear you towards something that you may be, like a new path that you may need to take. Education doesn't have to mean like in the sense of going back to university. It could be a new career, maybe that you want to take. It could be that you're moving into the realm of healing, because we definitely need a lot more people helping us to learn to heal our emotional bodies, to in turn heal our mental and physical bodies, to heal our spiritual bodies, to clear past life trauma, to clear trauma from this life that we're living right now. So they're guiding you in that direction. And this card here may symbolize unfulfilled desires that you have. It could be as a light worker to really raise the vibration of humanity and help move consciousness along the ascension process. Ascension is something that is happening without our concerted effort, but it's happening regardless. It's a momentum that we're all moving towards, but it can be amplified by people who are actively present and are doing the work and are helping others to wake up. So I get the sense that you are your person who is trying to steer you in that direction, that you could be using your gifts, developing your spiritual gifts, if you are willing and if you're ready to open up to that and allow that to come into your life and put in the work. And it can involve some spiritual work, it can involve some shadow work, it can involve, you know, improving your physical health, improving your mental health, improving your emotional health, improving your spiritual health. And there's different ways to do that. And they're telling you, you know, you're unique and it's okay that you are not like everybody else. In fact, that is a gift that you're being given. And when you're constantly trying to please other people by going along with the crowd and being like everyone else and hiding what makes you you and kind of stuffing down what makes you unique and just trying to be one of the kind of the sheep, it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve anybody else. So they're trying to tell you, like, come on, like, what are you wasting your time trying to be like everybody else? You know, trying to do the 9-to-5 grind when you're not happy doing that. And when you actually embrace who you are, you're going to draw a lot of people that are actually like you and that you can be yourself around. And you can really do a lot better and more with your gifts when you embrace them and stop trying to suppress them and stop trying to be what you're not. And then, yeah, you're being called to use your gifts to train, education, time to step up, time to stop playing small, time to stop being like everybody else and actually step into your power. Okay, so I'm just going to shift these up slightly so that we have space to see the other ones, but we can still sort of see these ones too, because we've got a lot of cards here. I feel like this is actually really, yeah, really good. This is really coming together. Okay, we're going to look at your 2 affirmation cards. Powerful and irresistible. So this one here is telling me that, see, I attract positive people and opportunities. So when you are yourself, the people gravitate to you, but you want the people to gravitate to you when you're not wearing any of your masks, you're not pretending to be something that you're not actually feeling. It's not authentic. When you're authentic, you are a magnet for people and experiences that serve your highest good. That when you step into embodying your higher self is like the most evolved form of you, and it's always sort of, you're already that person, but you're just not embodying it yet. So the more you can actually step into your power and exude that confidence and not be afraid to be you, then you will, like it says here, the way you are being is creating your reality. It's not what you're necessarily what you're thinking, it's what you're being at each moment that is fabricating your reality. Okay, I'm gonna put those ones there. Okay, actually what I want to do is I'm gonna put these ones up here so that we'll be able to see all the writing, but that's okay. I think at this point we've already kind of gone through them. That way we can put out all the tarot. So I think this one was first. So we've got the 5 of Swords, and you got swords twice actually. You got the 6 of Swords, I believe, as well. So this one's telling me that you're kind of ready to leave that combative, egotistical kind of I'm right, you're wrong, I'm bad, you're good, or I'm good, you're bad, I'm better than you, or just judging people for being themselves. Maybe they're not going along with the crowd and they're actually like living very authentically, and you've kind of been judging that because you haven't necessarily been living authentically. You've been more kind of just, you know, going along with the status quo, and in a way you resent that in yourself. So when you see other people that are that are living in their power, you kind of feel a bit jealous. And I get the sense that you're ready to let go of that and kind of move on from that. Like you've finished with that phase of your life, and you're kind of ready to now like just move into a more laissez-faire, like just not really caring what other people think and just doing what feels best for you. But at the same time, like doing what's best for the collective. Like you're just not going to carry the weight of other people's expectations anymore. You're ready to kind of like, just people will say what they say, you know, haters gonna hate. And usually, yeah, we're jealous of people who are being the way we wish we could be. King of Wands, and this one has lots of fiery signs, like they've got the salamander, and they've got the lions, and just like you're gonna be more fiery and more confident, and you're gonna really start to stand in your power and actually exude this beautiful confidence, and your person is really trying to say like it's okay to just like be proud to be you. It's okay to accept yourself. It's okay to love yourself, you know, even though we have flaws, or love yourself because of those flaws, because those set you apart, and they make you human. And a lot of people, we all have them, but we try to hide them, and we try to pretend that we're all perfect, but nobody really is. Like nobody is. We all make mistakes, we all mess up, we all you know, we all hurt people, we all think things that we feel bad about thinking, we all have guilt and shame and trauma, and you know, we all suffer from stress at times, and depression and anxiety, and it's just that's an outer manifestation collectively. If we look at it, like it's just like, you know, people are getting sicker and sicker, and mental health is a big, you know, maybe it's just more out there and more discussed, but it's become a big problem for a lot of people, because we've been suppressing our emotions for so long, and now they're just like, they cannot be contained anymore. And I get the sense of that balance is coming to you, and it could be a counterpart, it could be, you know, a twin flame coming into your life, but it also could just be a friend that's coming, that's going to help balance your life out and help you sort of work through. It could be a mentor coming into your life that, you know, maybe your person is trying to say, you know, you need to balance things in your life, and your health is really, you know, one of the most important things to you, because if you're a workaholic and you know, and money is the most important thing to you, you're going to really lose not only relationships, but you're going to lose meaning from your life, and your health. You can't always get your health back once it's gone, once it's taken for granted. So, you know, your person's saying like, don't take your health for granted, because, you know, if it's gone, then the money really doesn't matter. You know, the job doesn't matter. It doesn't matter more than your well-being. And the Fool, the journey continues, but don't be afraid to set out on new journeys and to start new projects and to have a new sunny outlook on life. It's okay sometimes to be pessimistic, but it's also okay to be optimistic. You just have to learn to balance, right? To balance both of them, because it's not easy. You know, we have ups and downs, and sometimes we try to control everything that's like paddling upstream, but if we really learn to just kind of be in the moment, that's all we have to deal with. And when we have a moment that's too much, then we can surrender that to spirit and ask for help. But I get the sense that this can be difficult for you. You're not always so good with your emotions, and they can build up. Resentment can just seethe under the surface, and you're not necessarily able to express it in a healthy way that helps you to feel it and then release it, and then it doesn't have to come back as strong. But the more you push down, try to escape it by, you know, gambling or drinking or taking drugs or playing video games or shopping or watching porn, anything that you use to escape how you're feeling, it eventually will blow up, and it will cause, you know, an imbalance in your body. If we think that physical illness has nothing to do with our mental and emotional health, then I think that we're selling ourselves short. Our bodies are very intelligent, but if we don't actually treat them as such, like we accept the fact that if we cut, you know, if we have a cut on our hand, that it hurts for a bit, it bleeds for a bit, eventually it'll scab over, and then the scab will be gone. But we've been led to believe that that's kind of all that our body can do, is like heal from small cuts. You know, and if we have a bigger cut, like obviously if you have a gash, you need stitches, and then your body heals. And we've accepted that, but we don't necessarily accept that we can heal without outer intervention, medical intervention. I believe we can. I understand that there's a lot of money at stake for people, you know, and we've been kind of led to believe that our bodies are not intelligent enough to do that. I disagree, but you know, it's just about opening to different perspectives and different ways of doing things. And I've seen it in my life, actually, personally, in my health. So I have firsthand experience, but I understand that others just don't have that trust in their immune systems, and that is perfectly okay. But I just hope that the majority of people wake up and realize, like, we've kind of been lied to. And so I get the sense that something is ending. You're moving away from something that may not be helpful in your life. Could be an addiction, could be you're trying to get your health back on track, like a good routine for exercising, diet, and that can be difficult. And you may feel like very discouraged and alone, but you know, eventually you will find your stride. You will, if you keep at it and you keep trying and you understand how important it is and you really try to be present, then you will reach your goals and you will heal yourself. But part of this path can be very, very lonely. But you know, you have to remember, just because you're alone in the sense of maybe you don't have a lot of other people around you, you've always got your spirit guides. And this person wants you to know that I'm always here for you. Even if you can't see me, you can't hear me, maybe you can't feel me, you're not open to the signs that I'm here, that I'm trying to show you. Because if you look, I believe that they will be there for you. The signs that I saw a couple of signs in the last couple of days, and my loved one just passed yesterday. So but I've seen the signs, because I am open to that kind of thing, and I am willing to read it as that. Let's do two more cards, Spirit, just to get a little more clarification for pile number 1 on the last kind of messages that their loved one has for them. This one was peeking out. I'll take this one too. Okay, what have we got? The Sun and Strength. Oh my gosh, that's just beautiful, pile number 1. So, you know, the sun is very important. It is, if we think of our immune systems, our bodies, without, you know, kind of synthetic supplementation, our bodies need the sun to empower us, to boost our immune systems. And a lot of people are very low on vitamin D. And even if you think, oh, I get enough sun, like if you're covering your body with sunscreen and you're not getting enough actual direct sunlight, like to me, I would rather spend an hour in the sun every day without sunscreen than to, you know, lather my body with chemical sunscreens that are not good. And I don't know, but that's just me. I would rather just get the natural sunlight and take my chances with the UV rays that may be damaging. Who knows if that's actually, I'm not saying it hasn't affected people, but who knows if it was actually true before the belief was implanted, right? What came first, the chicken or the egg? And then you've got strength. You are a strong person, and if you draw on the strength of the sun to empower your body, you'll have the energy to, to get through whatever you need to get through. You are strong and do not sell yourself short. That's the last kind of message that your person wants you to know. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, pile number 1. I will catch you in the next video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any videos I post. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Sun. It's a beautiful card with the little lamb on the beautiful girl's lap with her long hair. She's looking up at the stars. And you chose the Chalcedony. It's a beautiful stone, a purpley color. Okay, let's get a look at your cards. Ride the Wave. I'm going to try to shift these over. Okay, so you got Ride the Wave, Making a Choice. We have Earth School, Life Lessons, Soul Growth, Study, Higher Learning. Diving into something. Okay, we have Loosen Your Grip, Coping Mechanisms, Density, Addiction, Let God In. Okay, I'm just going to tuck this one behind a little bit. Okay, we're going to take a look now at your I Am cards. I am affirmations. I am patient. I breathe and trust that everything is unfolding for my highest purpose. I am strong. My physical and intellectual powers are my greatest resources. Okay, I'm going to put those here. And I'm going to go through and explain these cards. Okay, our tarot, we have 9 of Swords, Three of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, oh, sorry, 6 of Cups, the 8 of Wands, the Star. Oh my gosh. So in pile number 1, that was the Fool, and they drew the Fool card, and you picked the Star and you do the Star card. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Pile number 2. Oh my gosh. So cool. So fun the way this works out. 7 of Wands. Okay, so you've got 2 Wands. And 6 of Swords. Okay. Well, let's take a look here. Let's see what we've got. So, with the Star, you're looking... Okay, so the Star, you're looking outside of yourself. You may be, I mean, the stars have fascinated humans for so long, and we don't exactly know everything there is to know, at least not consciously in this lifetime, what there is to know about the stars, how it got there, you know, how we can, you know, we have all these kind of legends and stories and movies of going into space, and humans have gone into space, and you know, it's just a very mysterious kind of thing. We use it for astrology. It has to do with the stars. So I get the sense that you're the type of person that is a seeker, and so your person knows that about you, and so you may be somebody that's, you know, always searching for answers. You're always looking for, what's my purpose? You know, how can I help? How can I serve others in this life? How can I find happiness within myself? So your person is telling you, ride the wave, because that is the effortless way. When you're when you're within, if you think about it, like if you're swimming within the ocean, or trying to swim or surf through a wave, it's going to be much harder, much more difficult on you. You might take in water. If you think of a stream, if you're trying to paddle up the rapids versus flowing down the rapids, you're going to spend a lot more energy trying to get up them than you are to just flow down. And if you're flowing down in a kayak or something, you might actually have fun because you're not, it may be scary because you're not so much in control. And it may be the same thing when you're riding the waves. You're not so much in control, but something is in control. And if you trust that everything will be okay versus being worried about what could go wrong, you're going to have a much better ride and a lot more fun. And you're going to end up better off in the long run, when you trust that something, somewhere, some infinite power, whether you call it spirit, source, God, the universe, the divine, Allah, whatever you call it, it has your back, but you have to trust it. And because it doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always make sense the way the universe works. But the universe has an intelligence, and the universe is a part, like you are a part of the universe is a part of you. That's what we often think of God as outside of ourselves, and we separate ourselves. We have that division. It's like, I'm me in this body and you are God outside of me, and you're up in heaven, which, you know, where is that? And then God is in hell down below. But I think that that's not necessarily correct, but it just depends. I mean, obviously I can't tell you what's right because I don't have all the answers, but I can just tell you what I sense and what comes through. So it looks like you're coming to a crossroads where you have a choice to make. And this may be a path of service to others versus service to self. This may be the kind of the life that, the status quo kind of life that, the life of fate versus the life of divinity. So what kind of you've mapped out for yourself ahead of time versus what your human mind wants to kind of think, like the linear path, like I do this and then I do this and then I do this, and there's no kind of mystery or unknowns about it. You don't necessarily follow your intuition, you kind of just follow your head, not your heart. So you're going to be coming to an important crossroads, and your person just wants you to know there's no wrong way to do it. There's no wrong answer. You're going to learn and grow regardless of what you choose. But so you can feel free to choose what it is that feels best for you, but they want you to know that, yeah, life lessons, soul growth, you're going to grow regardless. You're gonna make a difference regardless, but one of those paths may be more fulfilling than the other. It's just a matter of trusting yourself and trusting in God that you're going to make the right decision and it's going to be great. And not to worry too much about it, not to overthink it. So life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning, earth school, like you came here to learn, you came here to grow, you came here to for your soul to make its way through the life lessons and to experience itself and to reach that higher self. So if you think of it, your egoic self and your higher self, you're learning to shed the egoic self that is selfish and has guilt and shame and trauma. And it's not a bad thing. It's not that you're to blame. It's just part of the experience. It's part of the experience of shedding all that is not you so that you can be all that is you. So yeah, and then it leads into coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in, loosen your grip. So part of what we do as humans is we hold on to emotional trauma. We experience things that that our mind perceives as either bad or good. And when we have these experiences that we perceive as bad experiences, we either blame ourselves and see ourselves as the bad guy. We blame others and see ourselves as the victim. And we hold on to a lot of guilt and shame and jealousy and hatred and anger and resentment and negative emotions, sadness. And we really punish ourselves over and over. We tell a story about it, and we keep telling that same story, and then we attract more experiences like that. And it reinforces that belief, you know, about ourselves, that we're not good enough, or people abandon me, or, you know, I have bad luck. So the more that we say, yes, this is my experience, and it continues to be your experience, and then you continue to believe that this is the only way it can be for me, you're just gonna keep going through that cycle until you're ready to break that cycle, and you're ready to say, no, you know what, like, I don't deserve this. I'm strong, and I deserve to be happy in this life. And sometimes it takes time. You have to be patient with yourself, and it's not always going to be, you know, an instantaneous realization. These themes have to, and these patterns have to play over and over again before we actually say, you know what, you know, maybe I do have a say in how my life goes. Maybe I do have an influence, and not just trying to control everything outside of us, but actually when I make the changes to myself, to the way I'm seeing something, to the way, you know, to allow myself to feel that way, and then, you know, try to work away from that emotion to something that feels better, I end up feeling so much better, and the things outside me begin to change. And there's that Wayne Dyer quote that I love: when you change the way you think of things, or when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So the change needs to be made within each of us, by us, for us, and then we begin to see a different reflection on the outside. If you think of everything as a mirror, so if things are very chaotic in your world, you have to begin to ask yourself, what is going on within me that this is my experience? Because not everybody has that experience. And if you talk to people who have been through a lot of trauma and have done the work to release those negative emotions, and to begin to look at their stories through a different light, and begin to realize, like, you know, I saw myself as a victim, but really, if I look at all the things that have happened, this is part of my story, and that person had a story too, and maybe things happened in their life that led them to do things that I perceived as bad, but I didn't really understand why they were doing it. It's not to say that anyone deserves to be mistreated, but sometimes the way we're seeing it really adds to the problem. So yeah, being patient and seeing your strength, and patience is a strength in itself. Yeah, everything is unfolding for my highest purpose. So even things that happen to us that we perceive as negative and bad have a purpose for us, and help us to develop into a version of ourselves that is just amazing and happy and joyful and living their best life. And it is possible, absolutely possible for us. And your person wants you to know that you're not doing anything wrong, that in fact everything you're doing is right on schedule, and that part of the earth experience is learning to do things. Okay, it didn't work this way, so I'm going to try it this way this time. And actually, like, you know, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. So I'm going to try it this way. It didn't work this way. I'm going to try this. Okay, that didn't work. I'm going to try this. And not actually just saying, okay, it didn't work, I'm going to give up. No, keep going, keep trying. If it's something that you really want to achieve, you have to put in the work. You have to trust it's going to work out, and ask for that higher power. Recharge yourself with the divine. You know, the divine is part of you. You are part of the divine, so you have access to that source of energy, source of inspiration, source of creativity. If you ask for help, you will get the help, but you have to believe, and you have to be patient that the timing, it will come when the time is right. Okay, so let's look at your tarot. Definitely have some struggles along the way, maybe struggles to, you know, see yourself as a good person, struggles with emotional trauma, shame and guilt, But your person wants you to know that, you know, it is all how you are seeing it. Tell yourself a different story. Begin to ask yourself questions. You know, Byron Katie is a really great, she has a really great system called The Work. And you ask yourself, you write it down on paper, you know, whatever your problem, you fill out this questionnaire and you list all the kind of things that, it's called a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And it talks about, you know, you're talking about an issue with a person. Let's say you're worried about your husband. You know, he's always friends with other women, and you know, you don't trust him, and or maybe vice versa, and you have friends that are male and he doesn't trust you, always thinks you're cheating on him. So you write down, you know, all the things, you answer the questions, and then you ask yourself, is it true? Can I absolutely for sure know that it's true? And you say yes or no. It's a yes or no answer. If it's yes, then you know, you dive into more questions on how you know that it's true. And a lot of the time the answer is actually no. I don't know for sure that that is true, absolutely true. And then we realize that, like, we construct a lot of stories in our mind based on fear, right? We think that, you know, a lot of the things we think people think of us are just stories we've created. Like, somebody gives us a look and we think, oh, they think that I'm weird, or they think that I'm, you know, maybe they think I'm a snob, or maybe they think I smell bad, or maybe they think I'm ugly, but did they actually say that out loud? So how, if the answer is no, how do you know that that's what they think of you? But we tell ourselves these kind of stories all the time, and a lot of them turn out not to be true in any way, shape, or form. But because we've convinced ourselves, we're operating with all these beliefs and stories in the background, and it really colors how our reality is for us, how we experience life. So your person wants you to know that, like, you need to start to take like an audit of what stories in your life, what beliefs in your life are true, and begin to question things like, is that true? You know, and really don't ever take anything at face value. Like, do some probing, do some questioning, and just, I mean, there is, yes, we want to trust God and trust the universe, but we also have to really go into our own inner landscape and see, like, what do I have operating that I'm not aware of? And this is where meditation can really help to bring awareness to your thoughts, because we have so many thoughts every day and so many stories running through our mind. And if we don't question them, we don't have awareness of them, then we can't make changes. And the changes that we can make are going to really help us to have a better experience of life. So your person wants you to know that for sure. And that gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, as they say, have an attitude of gratitude, that you can really stop and smell the flowers, smell the roses. Giving to others, having that kind of a purpose can really help you to really improve your experience of life. Being, even if it's just when you have a moment when you come back to the present, you know, you've been thinking, and then you have this moment where you're very present. Find something in your life to be grateful. I'm grateful that my kids are healthy. Great. Okay, and then the next time you have that moment, be grateful for something else, and those will begin to add up. Count your blessings. Don't forget that, you know, that person is not here anymore, but they want you to know you're still here. You still have a lot to be grateful for. You still have a lot of life to live. You don't know when it will end. You don't know how long you'll be here, but don't live from fear. Live from a place of gratitude, of like, I'm here. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for what I don't have. That allows anything you don't have but want to come into your life, because you're not focused on lack. And this looks like, you know, things are heading in a good direction. You're willing to take action. Your person wants you to remember that, like, you know, even though you're a dreamer, even though you're always searching, even though you're always maybe researching things and looking outside of yourself, that you do have the ability to to come in, decide what you want, and take action. You're very good for that. And there's balance, right? You're a person who's able to balance and make decisions. And you're gonna have some struggles along the way. It could be addiction. It could be, you know, you fall back into old patterns. Let's say you have time where you're really feeling heart-centered and your heart's open and you're loving people and people are loving you and you're getting along really well with everyone. And then you have times when you slip back into, you know, grumpiness or pessimism, or you're, you know, fighting I'm right, you're wrong with others, or your ego really kind of flares up. And these are the times that are teaching moments for us, if we let them be, you know, where we realize, like, we're really only fighting ourselves. We really only need to just, like, you know, when you make a mistake or you fail at something, you say, you know what, it didn't work, I'm going to try again. You know, it's the same with falling back into old patterns. Recognizing it is like, when you recognize, oh, I did it again, like, that's actually a good thing, because a lot of people do things and have no idea that they keep repeating the same pattern over and over again, and they blame everybody outside of them. But when we take responsibility and we realize that we have control over what happens, we don't have control over what happens in our life necessarily all the time. We're not always aware, but we do have control of how we feel about it and how we react to it or respond to it. So it looks like you're going to be kind of departing from this kind of loop of making the same mistake over and over, and you're going to begin to realize, oh, I'm doing that again, and make a course correction, which is great. Pile number 2, and your person really wants you to know that you're doing a great job of that. Like, you are really starting to make progress, and you're not taking like 1 step forward, 3 steps back. You're starting to really make some progress along your path, and you're making choices that are positive for your soul growth. Okay, Spirit, I'm just going to take 2 more cards just to give a last message. Pile number 2. Thank you. Oh, we'll take this one. Actually, there was one that was like super poking out. Okay, whatever. We'll just go with what my intuition told me. Okay, so we have 10 of Wands and 3 of Wands. Maybe I don't know which one was first, actually. You had Wands. Yeah, there was lots of Wands in this reading. Yeah, so I'm getting the sense that sometimes you feel like you're going up, 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 and never getting, like, you know, a perpetual ladder. Like, you're never getting to your destination, but you are making progress. Your person wants you to know that it's not for nothing. Like, you are getting somewhere in your journey, and it may sometimes seem like you're not, but you really are, and you're really putting to rest, you know, old habits that no longer serve you. You're putting down roots. You're growing in different directions. You're really improving a lot of different aspects of your life. This could be health-wise, mental health, physical health. You're just making some good changes so that, you know, maybe you had a health scare, or maybe when your person left, when they passed on, you know, it really affected you, and you really, you know, maybe they had cancer or heart attack or something, or COVID, heaven forbid, any of those, and you said, well, I don't want to leave this earth, you know, I'm not ready to pass on. I want to live a long life, so I'm going to really make changes. And I think that they're really sharing with you, you've done a good job, and to keep at it, because it is important to trust that you are getting somewhere, and that the things that you're doing, when you're very present with and intentional with what you're doing, that you're going to really see some great results. Thank you so much for joining me, pile number 2, for this reading. This was a wonderful reading. Your person really cares about you and has, I think, a really great message for you. So just keep keep doing what you're doing, and I will catch you in the next reading. If you like this, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss another video. Thanks. Bye, pile number 2. Hi, pile number 3. So you chose the Hanged Man card, although it's a hanged woman in this case, and the Obsidian stone. Okay, just gonna focus here. Okay, let's get a look at your cards. Dragon's Lair. This card comes up a lot for me. A lot. Home. I get that card a lot too. Just gonna tuck these under. Okay. And then we have Lost Lands, Soul Memories and Gifts. You've done this before. We the Hathors, Deep Love, Mother's Milk, Birth as a Portal. Okay, let's move on to your affirmation cards. I am proud. I take deep pleasure in my own achievements. So important. It's a nice card there. And I am successful. I accomplish everything I set my mind to. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot and then we'll go through all the cards. So we have Page of Pentacles, Temperance, Queen of Wands, the Moon, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to fill you in on why this is so significant, and this is just blowing my mind right now. So the first pile number 1, was the Fool, and they drew the Fool twice. The second pile was the Star, and they drew the Star twice. Your pile is the Hanged Man, and you drew the Hanged Man twice. That is wild. Thank you, Spirit. This is an amazing reading. And this is the 7 of Swords. And last but not least, the 4 of Coins. Sorry, that was kind of shadowy. Okay, holy. This is bizarre, but like super exciting actually, because I was thinking like, what if, wouldn't it be crazy if every single pile, and I swear to gosh, I did not like, I did these cards like completely randomly. Wow. Okay. So that's very exciting. So let's get into your reading. What does your person who's passed on, what message do they want you to know? So you chose the Obsidian, and I wonder if I have the explanation somewhere here of Obsidian. I don't know what I did with it. Okay, I really wish I had the explanation because I feel like it would give us kind of a good idea. Okay. Oh, I do. Okay. So I picked up this Obsidian at a mine last summer. And I will read you the explanation because I think it will help with the reading. So So golden sheen obsidian, regain of power in the most positive sense is the gift bestowed by this crystal. Many lose sight of how one may be using their power and whether, the spelling and the grammar on this is atrocious, and whether it is for the greater good of the journey they have chosen. With this aid, one will be shown where faults may lie in true consciousness. Okay, so you chose the Hanged Man. Okay, and the Hanged Man can really symbolize like thinking you're trapped by something external, right? Thinking that you're being held prisoner, you're tied up, but actually you have the power to release yourself. You had the power to release yourself all along, but you just didn't realize it, or you didn't trust it. And so that is, I'm getting the sense that you're really holding yourself back from your true potential, and your person wants you to know that you need to stop that right now. You are so powerful and you are so capable, but you let fear and doubt really hold you back from doing amazing things. And so maybe getting a piece of obsidian, and you can meditate with obsidian, might be good. And so when I see the dragon's lair and I see home, what comes to me as a message is that you are hiding from your emotions. You have a lair, a lot of us do, a heart wall, a layer of ice or protection around our heart. And it's great because it blocks out pain from, or it can block out pain from others, that others may try, like we do it to protect ourselves from external suffering that others may inflict upon us. But it makes it very difficult for us to give love, to receive love. It blocks out everything. It's kind of like when you take antibiotics because you have an infection. It kills all the bacteria, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, and then you're left with no protection, and yeast takes over, and then you can have a whole lot of problems. I had those problems for so many years because I was just so out of balance. And so by closing yourself off, you lose out. And what you really need is to just make yourself home. You are home. If you've always been searching, if you're somebody who feels like you're searching for somewhere, like starseeds really kind of identify this. They feel like they don't belong here. They feel like they're the kind of black sheep of the family, or they're the oddball, or they're the weird one that, doesn't fit in. And the reason is that, like, you're looking for home other places, but you need to make home within yourself. That's where your home is. And you can do that when you really begin to accept yourself as you are, and not as you think you should be, or how others think you should be. People may tell you you're too much or you're not enough, and you may have that kind of trauma wound of being not enough, or being too much, or being both. I know the not enough was a big one for me, and you're selfish, and you just think of you only. And a lot of, especially as kids, yeah, we do, because we're learning and growing, and we come here to live our life. We don't come here to live a life for other people necessarily. Like, we can only live in our own body. And if we're constantly doing everything that other people want us to do and never doing anything that we want to do, and don't set those boundaries, and don't say, no, you know what, like, it's not about being selfish to hurt others. It's just that, like, you need to live your life and set boundaries and do what's best for you without you're not intentionally hurting others. It's different if you're doing things that benefit you, like, screwing people out of what belongs to them, or like stealing or cheating or intentionally lying. It's more that, like, when you do what's best for you, and they may not like it, that's not intentionally hurting them. That's watching out for yourself, and it's unfortunate that they don't like it, but that's what boundaries are meant for, is to, to keep you in a happy place. And codependency can really muddy the waters for us. Sometimes we think like, oh, if they don't do that for me, if they don't say yes all the time, then, you know, they take it personally. We take it personally. We think, oh, they don't care about me, they don't love me. But that's not it. It's that that's not what they want to do. And sometimes we just really need to understand that people need to do what they like to do, and not just because we want them to do it. Hope that makes sense. And this is something that we develop over time, right? We get better at it as we practice it. So we have soul memories, gifts, lost lands. You've done this before. So our soul, I believe our soul has lived many lives, some of them on Earth, some of them in other places. You know, Atlantis, Lemuria, Avalon are some of the places that humans have talked about. You know, obviously there's no concrete proof. There's a lot of, you know, artifacts that point to different civilizations, the potential of those civilizations, but it's just something you have to intuit and to know and to feel that connection to those places. But your soul memories and gifts, you may not remember them right now, but they are there beneath the surface. You just have to be willing to put in the work to develop them. So your person is telling you, like, look beneath the surface, like dive into your inner ocean. Don't focus so much on what's going on out there. Like, you've got a lot of gems buried within. Like, you be your own archaeologist and dig in, and there's some really good gems in there. So your person's telling you, like, you're gonna feel at home when you start excavating and getting to the core of who you really are, and start accepting that person and start loving that person and embodying your higher self, because your higher self is, you are already your higher self. You just don't realize it. You just don't embody it yet, but it's there. You just have to begin to be that person, begin to uncover that, chip away like a block of clay, and you're chiseling away. You know, at first it doesn't look like much, but an artist chisels away and eventually it becomes this beautiful masterpiece. It started out as this block of concrete and then it turned into this beautiful statue, but they had a vision, right? So you have to have a vision for yourself, and that's your higher self. That's just like the optimal version of you that you would like to be and that you are, but you need to chip away all the things that you're not, all that extra concrete to get to the beauty that's within. So we, the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So we come into this life, I believe, we map out what we want to accomplish in each lifetime that we come, and we come for a purpose, and the purpose may be service to self, so really just working on your own soul growth. It could be service to others, so you've really worked on yourself and you want to help others to achieve that soul growth as well, and you've made agreements with them ahead of time, contracts per se, let's say soul contracts to say, you know, you and I are going to work on this, I'm going to do this to you, you're going to be, you know, I'm going to be the bad guy, you're going to be the victim, and then we're going to swap in another life or in the same life maybe. And just having deep love for your experience, you know, especially if it's hard, if you came into a really, you know, maybe dysfunctional family dynamic situation. Birth is coming into a new experience and giving yourself that lifetime to work on different things. And sometimes you exit early, sometimes you spend a really long time, like you could live to be 100. There's just so many different scenarios, and maybe some lifetimes you've cut it short, and maybe sometimes it's really agreed with you and you've let it go for as long as you wanted. And we just have to really trust that everything is working out exactly as we planned. And it's not always obvious because we don't see things from a bird's eye view. We see things from the ground level. So it's not always obvious what else is going on behind the scenes, what is being woven behind closed doors. But we can begin to become aware of these things, but just loving ourselves, through these things. And mother's milk, connecting with Mother Nature, connecting with spirit, connecting with source, whatever you call it, that in divine intelligence, you have the ability to tap into that at any time. And that's where you really get your strength from. I am proud. I take deep pleasure in my own achievements. I am successful. I accomplish everything I set my mind to. You're obviously a go-getter, a doer. Your person wants you to remember, like, you have done a lot of great things in this life, and you'll continue to do great things. And maybe the next step is to, you know, move into a path of service to self, or service to others, sorry. And really, you know, teach others how to be successful, help other people. Somebody who loves all people, all races, and wants equality and diversity and success and love for everyone. Like, I want everyone to feel like they belong and they are worthy and they are important and they are special and they deserve to be here and they deserve to have everything their heart desires. Like, I want, like, if you ask me where I'm from, like, I want to say I'm a human from the planet Earth. That's it. Not identifying with the country, not identifying with, you know, all these labels we put on each other. You know, it's great for, like, you know, we often want details on things like that. We want to know your name, and we want to know what you do, and we want to know where you're from, and we want to know what languages you speak. But these are the things that kind of, like, if we can't see them as just beautiful differences, we see them as divisive, right? We see it as, you're this and I'm not that, and I don't want to be that, and I don't want you to be with me because you're that and I'm not, and I don't like that. And these things just really don't help us to be in a loving, peaceful world, right? So we need to, so maybe what you can do is you can help uplift people, because I think part of the problem is there's so many people that have profited off other people's suppression and other people's treating other people as if they don't matter, and taking and pillaging and you know, sterilizing, like, just terrible things done in the name of I don't know, greed and progress. And it's just like this small amount of people that have all the money and control all the things. And but the problem is, I think that we all have the potential to, there's enough to go around. We all have the potential to be successful. We all have the potential to have enough. And the people that have less need to realize that power, and they need to claim that power, and they need to just really, like, not be the way the people who have been bad to them, not be the way they are, but just realize that they don't even need to take from them. They need to just build on their own power, and they have the power to create that life for themselves without having to deal with these other people. They need to embody the world that they want to see. And what Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. We all just need to do that. So I see you, your person wants you to know that you can take the success that you have created in your life, and you can help other people to also see their worth and have that confidence and do the things that they want to do in their life, and really be able to see that success, especially people that, you know, have been marginalized in the past and still today. Okay, let's move into your tarot cards here, pile number 3. So we have Page of Pentacles. So here's another example of your success. We've got Pentacles. You've got the 4 of Coins, which is also Pentacles. So you really, I get the sense that you really base your worth on success in some ways. How much money you have in your bank, how much you make, you know, how much vacation do you get, how big is your house. And I think your person's trying to say, like, it's great that you have been so successful and done so well for yourself, but that is not the only important thing. Like, if there's anything that you should be coveting, it's your relationship with God, relationship with Source, and your health and your family. and just really prioritize like what matters. Just like bring it back, like what really matters, because at the end of the day, if you're in poor health because you've stressed yourself out, you know, because of working so much and trying so hard to claw your way to the top, that you lose your health, then the money just really doesn't matter. I mean, it's great to have money to leave to your family members, but what they would, I think, prefer to have is you in good health with them. So that is something your person wants you to know. Your person wants you to know that it's all about balance in life. You know, yes, you're busy with work, but you still need to make time for people, the people that, you know, make you smile, the people that care about you. Make time for your health, you know, make time for exercise and eating as good as you can, and water, good, healthy, fresh, filtered water without all the yuckies in it. Sleep, good sleep, vitamins and minerals, lots of time in the sun, outside in nature without any sort of impediment, breathing deep, meditation, sauna, intermittent fasting. There's all sorts of things that can really increase your boost your immune system, increase your quality of life, help you to be healthy, quit smoking, you know, quit drinking so much, or yeah, either quit or minimize the amount that you're taking in. Stay away from harmful drugs, prescriptions, that you know, get yourself off of pills if that's possible, because they really just they treat the symptoms, but they don't treat the actual, you know, actual reason for it. And a balance between spiritual and your spiritual and analytical sort of worlds, right? Like the spiritual or subconscious world, just really diving into you and your inner world, and but still being in the, like I think it says in the Bible, be in the world but not of it. And you have the Queen of Wands, and she's very beautiful and regal, and she has this sunflower and the black cat. She's also a symbol of she's got these lions in the background, so she's fiery. And yeah, there's a couple of kind of you've got the kind of sun, you've got the sunflower, you've got the sun here. I'm getting the sense that your person wants you to pay attention to your energy and how you're spending your time, and to spend lots of time in nature. And summer's coming, so it's a good time to, well, if you watch this one, when I've put it out in March, summer's on the way, but this is a timeless reading. So the moon. So there's going to be some things that come into your life that may throw you off your course a little bit. But the Hanged Man, as we discussed, you are more than capable of letting yourself down. It was almost an illusion that you were tied up, right? Like you had the ability, maybe you were tied up for 2 weeks, but the entire time you had the ability to let yourself go. But you really had to get to a point where you realized your power. You may not have realized, and I'm getting the sense your person wants you to know that, like, you have the power. You've done a lot of amazing things, but you need to melt that barrier and find home and tap into your gifts and share them with others and find balance. And then, you know, yes, you're going to encounter things that don't agree with you, but you have the power for how you react to what comes into what comes into your reality. You're always in control. You're always in the driver's seat, but sometimes it's difficult. But you also, like, as much as you are in the driver's seat, God needs to be a part of that. You know, if you want to have that connection with God and that sort of universal power and assistance, you need to tap into it, right? You need to connect to it. It's always available to you, but it's your choice, right? We have free will, so you need to choose. Do you want to do it alone, or do you want to have help? These last two sort of tell me that there may be some kind of sneakiness going on. Maybe sometimes you try to cheat yourself out of things. Like, you know, if you're on a diet, you've decided to start eating better. And, you know, eating well is a lifestyle, right? So if you try to be too restrictive, it doesn't usually work. So it's better to, you know, allow yourself to have some treats, but just aim to eat better, aim to drink more water, aim to get more sleep. Just make small changes. Yeah, and I get the feeling that you're kind of keeping some things to yourself. Maybe it's your talent, maybe it's your money, maybe it's your emotional love, something that you're being stingy with, something that you're keeping to yourself, and you're trying to kind of take more than maybe in business you've gotten to the top by kind of, you know, cutting other people out of what was owed to them or due to them. So I think it is going to be important for you to give back. Let's do a couple more cards just to get last message from your person. Source, please help us to get a little more clarity on the message that their person that's moved on has for them. Thank you. I'll take this one here. All right. Okay, pile number 2. So we have 7 of Cups and 6 of Wands. And yeah, you didn't have any other cups. You had one other wand. A lot of court cards and yeah, and major arcana. So you've got the 7 of Cups, where it's also showing you like you've got a lot of assets at your disposal, a lot of abundance in your life, and it can be kind of overwhelming, like you don't even know where to look, like, but this is a situation where like be grateful for it and share the wealth. And, you know, a noble mission, you know, goodness is its own reward, a noble mission, you know, to help bring others into the fold, to help create equality, and to really just promote that, like, that goodness and peace in the world, to have compassion. And like, we just want everybody, if we wanted everybody to win, think about it, if everybody wanted everybody to win, would our world look the way it does now? No, of course not. But we each need to make that change within ourselves. We can't expect that the outer stuff is going to change if we don't do the work inside. So you need to be brave and you need to do the work. Melt that heart, open it up, share it with the world. That's the message. All right, thank you so much for joining me, pile number 3. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like this reading, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Click the notification button if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye, pile number 3.